Julian Roper, the referee, had a little argument with a revolving door at the hotel this morning. Got stuck in it for a while.
Well, that's the worst thing that happens. He'll be all right. But, you know, it's pressure packed for those referees as well. And it doesn't get any better than these two, especially in the final 16. The lag is proven today to be so important. I think all three tables in the first. And Filler's been quite a bit short on the lag a few times.
Raga
so
wins the lag.
But we've seen breaking runs, I think, on all three tables to start all three matches. So let's see if Raga can kind of make that continue.
By the way, Jeremy, it's not escaped my attention
First
that
Anton
all of your
Raga to
picks
break.
so far have been successful.
Yeah. Oh, Adam, big guy in there for Matchroom. He had me fill out the bracket all the way to the end today, and normally they're kind of in trouble with that, but today so far it's been on point. Hats off to Sufi, by the way, and the other guys that took a loss here early. A heck of a tournament here, and they know with another 9 years to unfold here in the kingdom, they're going to have more chances.
So the one goes in off the point, and the two is on. But this is a really tough pot to start off with before your cue arm is truly lubricated.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we're going to see from both these players, to where they're going to try and take it on. You know, if they're on the fence on a tough pot, maybe looking at a defensive shot, I think they're going to go more aggressive more often than not, as they should. And one thing you'll see about both players, and talked about it in different times this week, is when they get down, there is no adjusting. They really truly believe what they see and what they feel, and that's really why they're two of the players that have so much success, even under the pressure. Excuse me, Phil.
Extension called.
Has suffered a defeat here, Anton Raga. He won his first match very impressively, 9-1 against Bernie Regalario. Tactically, he was watertight in that contest. But then he was beaten by Alexa Pachelch 9-4, so had to bounce back on the one-loss side. Beat James Georgiadis 9-4, and then Luri Tang 11-3, and Mario He last night. Good four-ball, but nothing like the one he knocked in the decider. It was inspirational. I think it was the 5.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that shot last night, late. Heard so much about it, though, this morning, and Carl had mentioned that 90% of the field's really playing safe in that kind of situation, and always talk about the players here to win rather than play to not to lose, and two of the finest we're going to have here on our afternoon match here on the TV table. And again, it looks like the lag is going to really be influential here early in the match. Not a whole lot to talk about with these last 4 balls. They're kind of right in front of them. You'll see Raga quite often get the cue ball cleaned. He feels like there's any residue from the chalk or whatever. He's not going to take any chances.
It really was a recurring theme last night on table 1. Both matches. Short Al-Qaedi and then Sanderson Melling. All 4 players had the cue ball cleaned on a regular basis.
Yeah, well, it's quite humid here, you know, and really humid at times. In the evenings, it seems to be even more so. So these players, of course, the adrenaline gets going, a little sweat on the hands, and they just don't want to have anything unfortunate happen with a kick or a skid.
Nothing unfortunate about that rack, apart from if you are Joshua Filler. Raga draws first blood.
Yeah, and you wonder about last night's matches, right, with Raga going hill and Filler with such an easy win, if that plays into today at all.
Now, beforehand, we spoke to the title favourite, Joshua Filler.
I'm playing pretty solid, pretty good. The break is working quite well. But the last 64 match was probably the toughest one here in the field because I was 9-4 down, almost got beat by Fitim. From there on, I just played perfect and I could use all that strength into the next round against Oscar. So I won 11-1 against him. First rig, I missed a fairly easy 8-ball. He all of a sudden missed a 9-ball as well. So I think that, sticked in his mind the whole match. And I just took advantage of that and, felt super comfortable with a big lead, like 7-0, and then I was even 10-0 up. And from there on, I was 100% sure they're gonna take that match. Of course, being in the last 16 is a big goal, but now, of course, you want to win the event. We played a few times against each other, also one time in the big final in China. I know he's a super good player, probably top 3 in Philippines. So it's going to be a tough one. It's like playing a final probably, but I'm just going to look at myself, on my strengths, and try to put him under pressure. I'm just focusing on what I have to do, what is my job. If you win your match and you see the trophy, you always dream about it. Even before the event, I was dreaming about being, the second time world champion, but it's still a long way to go. Too many great players left in the field. Even when you're a world champion, you're not guaranteed in the last 16. You have to earn the spot and play well. And of course be lucky in some occasions. Just to be honest, I'm just focusing on myself. I always say that because it's what you have to do in sports, just focusing on yourself and do your job right.
Josh Filler dominated against Oscar Dominguez. As he was explaining, he won 11-1, but
Anton Raga to break, leading 1 rack
in a
to
couple
0.
of matches this week, even though he's undefeated, 4 out of 4 he's won, he has struggled. Initially, he was held to 4-4 by João Grillo of Portugal, pulled away to 9-5. And then against Fitim Haradinaj in the last 64, well, he was looking as though he might well be eliminated. He was 9-4 down to the man from Kosovo, but then rattled off the last 7 racks. And when he got through, he let out a huge shout. I think it was more relief than anything else.
Yeah, at one point yesterday, he won 17 games in a row. And for this field, no matter who you're playing and what the situation or scenario is, to do something like that is pretty incredible. Not the best break off from Raga there. Hit him quite thin, and he knew it.
Yeah, disastrous dry, wasn't it? Disastrous, because the balls are very nicely spread for anyone, let alone someone of Filler's potting prowess.
Yeah, after opening break and run, I mean, gotta believe Filler, after seeing that break off, is happy as anyone in the building. He's fallen a little off angle here. A little funny. Now, the good thing about Filler, and he's going to move the rock here, is, things open up for him so easily because he doesn't mind distance, where a lot of players are trying to really work the cue ball into position for the easier shot. I mean, and that's a lot of what pool's about, trying to get tidy position. But when the pressure's on and you can accept a long shot, boy, it really puts a big advantage to the player, and Josh shows that time and time again. I think you'll see that from Raga as well. He's, like Phil said, I didn't get to see it, but the shot he made last night to really essentially win the match, and at Hill as well. I mean, just, 2 of the best for no. See him pocket this tight 5, yeah, but 2 of the best, and that's one of the reasons why they're willing to stay aggressive in the big pressure moments. Yeah, not going to be happy with that. Kind of feel like he's going right at the 8. Maybe he can get by this, but leveling out, I think he catches just a piece of the 8. Don't want to jack up here. And he's really good at getting through the ball on certain angles, but this one's close. And he just got by it. And all that is speed control whenever it's going to be close like that. SVB with a big missed 8-ball there early. Had ball in hand with 4 balls on the table, Phil.
Yes, SVB missing the 8-ball in rack 6 against Wojciech Szewczyk. Joshua Filler not missing the 8-ball here. Or
Joshua
indeed the
Filler
9.
wins the rack.
So it was a dry break from Anton Raga, and capitalising to the full is Joshua Filler. He gets back onto level terms at 1-1. It's a big day in the Filler household. That's Joshua's wife and greatest support system, Pia Filler, who played in this tournament. And it's her 26th birthday today, so congratulations to Pia. Now let's have a look at this 8-ball that we talked about. Van Boning, for him, that should be meat and drink with the 9 hanging over the middle.
Yeah, and that's maybe trying to get a little easier on the 9. I don't know. But again, he had ball in hand with the 6, 7, 8, 9 left on the table after somewhat of a silly scratch by Szewczyk. So maybe some early nerves, even for one of the greatest to ever do it. And the argument is with Efren Reyes, and he's in the building as well.
Wojciech Szewczyk, he's had a pretty solid career. And he's 4-2 ahead. And of course, Van Boning, that man, Joshua Filler, and Fedor Gorst, all in the bottom half of the draw. The winner of this match will take on Gorst or Melling in the quarterfinals this evening.
Yeah, you can see those outer tables on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channels.
Filler is number 7 on the World 9-ball Tour rankings. Raga is 38th, but the
Joshua
gap
Filler to
really
break.
isn't
The match
that
is
wide.
tied, 1 rack each.
Yeah, kind of a funny opening there. 9-ball had a little movement, and Josh usually gets really nice spreads. These aren't bad, of course, and he's got a great starter, but a little congestion here on the bottom end. It's always good when you can get to all the cue ball. Leaves the options a bit more open. Looks like he's going to draw this, trying to stay away from the 7-9. Has the 3 for the upper corner or the side. Oh, he's going to come around, maybe go into the 3. They parted pretty nicely there, Phil. And if he ends up playing a 4-6 combination here after this 3-ball, that really kind of opens things up. I think it's going to be a bit easier to get from the 5 to the 7, believe it or not, than from the 6 that's so deep in that corner pocket. So now putting a little thought into the remainder of the rack. Fell a little off angle. Does he play to make them both here and get position on the purple? You would figure, yeah. Now the problem is he's got to fall a little underneath this 7 to get it over for the 8, and he's going to have to go forward doing so off the brown 7. So speed control here, very important, and it's all about how you hit the pocket with the object ball here on the 5. I'll tell you, there's some nerves going on the Szewczyk Van Boning match. He just missed about an identical 8-ball to the same corner that Shane missed in the last rack. I don't know if this is makeable. May have to put a little spin on this. Watch for the overcut. Okay, got it down.
The old slumped shoulders when he was initially down on the 7, and then all of the hopes he'd ignited in Anton Raga were doused.
Yeah, but it makes it add up to a little bit more of a shot on the 8. And what we've seen from Filler in 2024, if he's going to make a mistake, it's early in the match. It's really not going to happen mid-match or later.
And I've seen him miss quite a few of this kind of shot by overcutting. Not on this occasion. Could not have been any cleaner.
Yeah, that was center cut. He's got a bit of a tester here in rack 3 to get his first lead.
Anton Raga potted all the balls in the first rack, but he's not potted one since. Joshua Filler hits the front early doors at 2-1. This is Wojciech Szewczyk of Poland, knocking in the 8 ball nicely on the 9, and this will give him a 5-2 lead over Shane Van Boening over on table 2. Van Boening not really woken up yet, not really involved in the match. Of course, he's well capable of turning this around, but a 5-2 deficit against a player of Szewczyk's status is a little worrying.
Leading by 2 racks to 1.
Yeah, absolutely, and he just broke the balls and got a nice shot on the blue too. And I ain't gonna lie, Shane missed not only position after an easy miss from Szewczyk, but then missed a little touchy safety, but something he should really capture. And Shane not at his best so far. Might need to step away, and I really say that about Shane especially, but when he can, he may need a break, go kind of get himself regrouped. Now that's more of the break off I'm used to seeing from Filler. I'm surprised he's digging on this. Oh, he hit it really well. Ooh, may leave the jump. Now he did tie the 3 up. He bumped it out of position, so the jump maybe not so detrimental.
Well conceived this. Just a little unfortunate, as Jeremy said, that the 2 ball came to rest so close to the middle pocket. What you'll notice about Anton Raga, he's a ball of perpetual motion around the table, full of energy.
Well, he's entertaining, right? Like Sufi, I think, in a sense, but also will get you on the edge of your seat. Don't think. Of course, all these players are a bit nervous, but that's just his style. But it'll certainly make you, as a fan and a spectator, be a little nervous for him.
Well, that was a very poor attempt at containment. The double kiss, always in a conventional safety to be avoided.
Yeah, well, it was me and Michael that did Raga's match the other night. And the one thing I feel like, given the opportunity, and it wasn't much opportunity for his opponent, but I think getting the pace of the match, Filler's not going to be a slow player by any means, but, some exchanges back and forth to where Raga can't get that tempo going, where he really is feeling good and not feeling a miss at all or any threat. I think that's big as far as trying to take the Dragon down. Not sure what he's going to play here. Cross side bank, I believe, but he was thinking about the 5, I would guess. Oh no, he decided to play the safety, and I gotta believe that's because of the purple 5. That bank was on, and you can see the pink pretty available.
News from table 1, Jeffrey Ignacio stretches ahead against David Al-Qadi at 6-2.
Yeah, I'll tell you, early so far, and what is the most crucial day of the tournament as it goes on and on and on, but leads have held up, and there have been some big leads here early. The only one that didn't, I guess, was Mickey Krause. Got out to a scorching start at 4-0 before losing 6 in a row or 7 in a row. But I'll tell you, there's a guy he was playing that really believes in himself, and he was trailing, who was it? Carlo Beato broke and ran 2 racks to start against him before Dang Jinhyu really took off. Talk about it all the time with players. Didn't really settle the tip before that final swing, which Josh usually does do, and maybe got a little quick there. Big miss.
Left hampered queuing over the black 8 ball. That's worked out just fine, though.
And he's getting the cue ball cleaned again, and I'm not really sure why. Looked like he was upset. I thought he played it with just ideal speed. You wouldn't want to float too much. Can't bring the 8 into play. Cue ball didn't seem to kick. I mean, or at least the object ball didn't seem to have a kick either, so.
Looks as though the first 4 racks of this match are going to be shared.
Anton Raga
Joshua
wins the
Fuller,
rack.
normally so reliable when it comes to potting, missed a ball that he normally would knock in, and Anton Raga took full advantage of that. I think it's a sign of things to come. Now let's just pan over across the room to table 2, where Shane Van Boning laid a very troublesome snooker earlier in this rack, just a few moments ago actually, and that's forced this chance that you feel, Jeremy, for his spirits he needs to take.
Yeah, and he's falling about as nasty on this ball as you can fall, with the 5 just over the middle. Gotten a little odd. Can he hold the ball there and play a thin cut and run the cue ball off the 5 into position? Been a few misses to this upper corner, so I think he's going to simplify this one. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, like I said, he needs a bit of a wake-up call of some sort. Dragging on a few easy balls. Should draw this all the way to the rail and then back out. That's how the players usually like to play it. Get a little reference off the back cushion.
There's no doubt Van Boning looking good to win this rack, but he has been looking good to win others that have slipped through his fingers.
Rack 5.
I'll let you know
Anton
as soon as he
Raga to
pots the
break.
final couple of
The
balls.
match is tied, 2 racks each.
Yeah, everything is okay for Van Boning. He's just promoted the 9 ball into an unmissable position. And so Wojciech Szewczyk's lead is now trimmed to 5-3.
Yeah, the 9 moves out of the rack again. That usually means the rack's a bit inconsistent. Our referees who do such a fine job, it can't always be perfect, but it's got to be something that's got to get a little better, I think. That's usually when you'll see the players miss the one a bit more often. Tend to get a bit more congestion as well. Well, I think really look at how straight he was. Of course, he missed it by some mark, but he didn't have to do all that there, I think. I mean, I understand, but he was pretty straight. So really trying to cheat the pocket.
When he captured this title in 2018, he beat a Filipino in the final, did Joshua Filler. The defending champion, actually, Carlo Biardo, 13-10. He's been playing this game since the age of 7. Youthful prodigy. Youngest ever Mosconi Cup player at the age of 20. He's won pretty much everything already, but he's got an insatiable appetite for more and more success.
And you look at things, right? He's got quite a few runner-up finishes as well, which is also another sign of one of the greats, not only winning a couple here and there, but just getting there time and time again. And Shane is just a bit out of sorts on some shots.
Extension called.
Of course, we won't talk about that too much with the main match going on between Raga and Filler, but looks like he's going to try and drop him behind the 5. Is he going to play a ball here? Could play a ball. He's going to have the cue ball escape a bit, though. If he's playing the 6, it will go into the purple 5 afterwards. So now he looks like maybe kind of hard to tell. Is he going to play it delicate for the safety? If not, it'll have some speed. Yeah, I think he did get the snooker.
If Raga can claim the notable scalp of Filler, it might well be a case of a Filipino hat-trick this afternoon. Johan Chua already into the quarterfinals.
Extension called.
Jeffrey Ignacio now against David Alcade. 7-2 to the good.
Yeah, I think David just got one, though. It is 7-3 now. But, yeah, Filipinos looking good in that regard. And, of course, what a match with Chua and Sufi earlier. And I thought Chua was a little under the gun, too, because he could have got some separation, made a couple little mistakes. So a lot of heat after you, I wouldn't say give games away, but, you know, make some mistakes that are very crucial and ones you don't expect. So got to be a safety here. You won't go after the 9 unless he plays into the 4-6 as well. 5-6, excuse me. Oh, the 3 goes, and that was such a good look. He did not have the entire pocket and shooting from distance, and this is going to be another special one, queuing over the green 6.
Yes, not a very enviable position where the cue ball is, but if anyone can do it, Filler can. You know, we talk so much, we analyse, deeply analyse games that we're commentating on. We talk about so many aspects of the game of 9-ball pool, And of course, there are many aspects. But when it comes down to it, if you can pot, boy, what an advantage. It's like being able to hit the golf ball 350 yards off the tee. And when it comes to potting, pure potting, he's right at the apex of the sport.
Yeah, it's the foundation of the game. And, you know, the good thing is, especially at this level, and all the players, they're not going to make that bad of a decision usually. And if you can execute and makes those decisions that maybe are on the fence a bit, makes them look a little better. You know, the things he's done also with some of the wins is, you know, like his World Cup win, you know, the player, not saying he was a bad player, of course he couldn't be, but a player he carried into that World Cup win for Germany. And
Joshua Filler wins
just
the
an
rack.
incredible dude with the pool cue in his hand.
Yeah, that was 2021 World Cup of Pool. His partner was Christoph Reiches, who isn't well known on the international scene, and yet they ended up triumphing. So Wojciech Szewczyk 5-3 on Shane Van Boening. The winner of that will play Victor Zielinski or João Griot. As for Filler, if he can see off Anton Raga, if he can slay the Dragon, he will play either Chris Melling, the last UK representative in the championship, or the escapologist Fedor Gorst. What a strange championship, what a spirited championship that Gorst has had. It's been entirely unexpected that he's struggled so much, and yet he's still here, he's still punching.
Yeah, he's played more games than anyone. He's had, what, 3 hill matches, I believe. Here, look at Szewczyk, and to be fair, Szewczyk hadn't played the best set either. He's just kind of cleaned up at the end, and a nice 9-ball right there to get back to that 4-game lead, or 3-game lead, excuse me.
Yeah, doubling up on Shane Van Boening. Of course, we'll give you all of the latest details about that match as it carries on. But there's no doubt that Van Boening needs improvement. He needs to be at his best now.
Yeah, well, the worry is Szewczyk's probably going to improve from here. He's been breaking the balls nicely, getting shots, not really completing the racks, opening the door, but SVB kind of giving it back. And it's been a variety of things. He's missed some safeties.
Leading by 3
kick or
racks to
2
2.
that he should have hit. On the blue and the cue ball near each other, so this can't be all bad. May not end up with something offensive. Looks like maybe a bank. It's pretty steep. Gotta believe he's gonna bury him underneath the 6-9 here. That's very, very natural. Could go for the bank, but this is, I wouldn't say low percentage, but definitely on the fence, 50-50 probably. And he's been so good tactically, I think he's got to come. With the 5 there as well, he's got to come up behind the 6-9. He's attacking, I think. I think he's all right. And a dry break by Szewczyk in game number 10. See what SVB can do, and we'll keep you updated.
I like the way Filler scowls after a shot and then just gets down and knocks the next one in.
I think he's gotten perfect here, though, to go to the rail and bump the 9 away. Not saying he has to, but I think it's there.
Extension called.
I think Ignacio got another one on his side. We'll confirm in a moment.
You suggested it, he did it.
Funny little shot here. Doesn't want to end up short and have to move the ball heavily. And that's, you could hear a little smirk, little noise from Filler, and he's a little off angle, a lot off angle actually. Does he go forward, trying to improve on the 8? Does he really draw the ball a lot? Does he pull it back just inches to take the cut? He's a little off angle, so going, looks like forward with the cue ball. Really good at this shot.
Well, Jeremy, you're right to say that, but Filler very surprisingly missed it. Very surprising. I think that's a product of the situation. A product of the pressure.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's going to get back to the table. Not really, you know, he had a cut on the 7, but couldn't get shape on the 8. Big part of the game he's improved at here from Filler.
Foul shot.
When you miss a 7-ball
Ball
like
in
that,
hand.
the pool gods don't think
start the
kindly about you. They inflict further punishment.
Yeah, and that's usually no matter who you are. Nice little hit on the 7, but shaved it, went right in the corner.
Filler had a golden chance for early separation. That chance has seemingly evaporated.
Extension called. Anton Raga
Joshua Filler
wins the
drew
rack.
the 7-ball. It remained on the table, and Anton Raga eventually, after laying quite a tough hook, drew level. So on Pia Filler's 26th birthday, her husband is being held to 3 racks each. Welcome back to the Prince Abdullah Al Faisal Sports Complex, where Shane Van Boning needed to win rack 10. He has done so. This 9-ball seeing this pool great within 2 of Wojciech Szewczyk at 6-4. But remember this about Szewczyk, he's a 3-time Polish 9-ball champion.
To break. The match
He won
is
the
tied,
PRP
3 racks
9-ball
each.
Open last year. He's had lots of success around the world, and he has been a quarter-finalist in the World Championship before, in 2015.
Yeah, he's a great player, and I don't think he's hitting them the best. But again, when the 9 moves, and that may need addressed, to be fair. I mean, it's been quite often.
Well, 2 questions here. I think I know the answer to the first one. The 9-ball has travelled far enough that Filler can see a segment of the three, but I think it's only a very thin sliver. Over on table one right now, Jeffrey Ignacio has tightened his grip against David Alcade, 8-3 to the Filipino.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's really planning here.
Extension called.
Looks like he can just bank the 3 down between the 6 and 5 and just guide the cue ball on the left long rail, trying to use the pink, the brown, and the 9 and 6. That's not bad. He's going to play a bit of a two-way. Like he's going to get it as well. Really well. Josh is probably the most improved player when it comes to kicking at the ball. And obviously has spent a lot of time, but he's going to have to show us one here. Is he having to jump kick here? Is that what's going on? Don't think he can. He jump at the ball directly? I didn't think that was an option. Yeah, he still hits it right in the face, Phil. So he's really learned the angles and how to attack with different spins.
Even so, Raga now has the opportunity to maybe hit the front. Hasn't been there since the opening rack.
That's going to be just fine. Just like all the players in my eyes certainly change quite a bit when they get down on the ball.
I can tell you on table two, early in the 11th rack, Shane Van Boning was hooked on the 3. He made contact, tried to pot it, but just failed.
Yeah, that was from the break, though. He had a shot on the 2 and snookered himself, so it's just been a handful of mistakes, and most of them unexpected, really. And you're going to miss balls, and things are going to happen, but
as for table one, look at this for Jeffrey Ignacio. Unheralded to a certain extent coming here, not anymore.
yeah, we talked about Jeffrey at the beginning of the tournament, and I commented that, you know, early he can have a few issues at times, but once he gets settled in, he's, of course, not the top Filipinos you wouldn't figure, but not far behind.
12 nations represented in the last 16. Only one nation had 3 players. Yes, you've guessed it, the Philippines. And they might have 3 players in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and David, I thought the conditions were very good for David this week. Thought the pocket playing a bit softer. Not easy by any means, but a bit softer than we saw at the UK Open. But again, the other player's not going to make as many mistakes or miss as many balls either.
Anton Raga wins the rack.
Anton Raga back in front. And you can trace Joshua Filler's problems back to that missed 7 ball very unexpectedly when he was on the verge of taking a 4-2 lead. Over on table 2, Shane Van Boning, despite leaving the 3 ball, is back at the table. But again, it's a case of fighting hard to gain control, maybe of himself, certainly of the cue ball.
Yeah, he overdrew about 2 feet there. I thought he could go with a high ball and get into the corner and wrap around, but maybe not. He looks like he's now a miscue. So if been the entire lot so far for SVB, and like I said, Shevchuk really hasn't been a whole lot better. That's why we see a scoreline of 6-4. I'm not really sure what he was doing with that shot. It looked like the angle with low, whatever left English it appeared anyways, didn't seem like the real play, but of course these guys are at the table.
And even given Van Boning's vast experience and powers of a recovery, a 7-4 deficit, that would be cause for genuine concern. Because Shevchuk has won big tournaments, he knows what's required.
Yeah, and like I said, he hasn't been at his best, but you got to figure he's going to wake up as well. So I think Shane's in definitely a bit of jeopardy.
Rack 8, Anton Raga to break. Leaded by 4 racks to 3.
I'm not sure Raga's gotten the one down yet. He has missed him a couple times though as well. Yeah, that was a little better. A little better hit, but big struggle so far on the break for Anton Raga.
Yeah, in the first rack he potted the one, but he came off the point into a bottom pocket. Then he broke dry in the second. In fact, he's now had 3 dry breaks in total. In the second rack, it was a similar scenario to this. Broke dry, balls went everywhere, and Filler wiped them up.
Yeah, these laid really nice. I mean, there's some work, don't get me wrong, but anytime you get the first couple fairly stress-free, you figure to get the cue ball in line, and wouldn't say make it routine out by any means, but very doable. Like, you know, this is the shot really getting from the 4 to the 5 to the 6. Now he's pretty heavy. He's got to figure he's going to draw back. Could lay between the 7-8 and play for the angle, but you got to believe he's going to draw back where his hand's at now, somewhere in that position. He's going to fall a little bit behind it. Remember, it was a top English shot that he did miss with the 7.
When it comes to positional misjudgments, it's either under
Extension
or over
call.
hit. And the vast majority of misjudgments this week have been under hit.
Yeah, dry break from Shevchuk, so now another opportunity for Shane to get going, and he's had plenty. Yeah, the top English. Top English, he likes the stun and the draw a bit more than the top.
Like the 7 ball he missed in rack 6. The 5 remains stubbornly on the playing surface.
Tricky little shot here.
Extension called.
A few reasons. I'd like to get into this to play some 4 rails. That way, cue ball, even where the position it's in now, would be pretty good. Yeah, trying to bounce off this bottom cushion. He's going to fall a little underneath it. Didn't want to fall straight. Now, there's certain types of chalks that leave a little bit more on the cue ball. Is that maybe the case? Because this cue ball is getting cleaned quite often.
It's a constant debate in snooker. The vast majority of the professionals these days using the town chalk. And when someone goes away from that, the other players don't particularly like it.
Oh, nice shot there to get on the 7. Makes things pretty easy. Remember, it was a 7-ball miss to get a 2-game lead for Filler, and now 3 balls, you got to believe, not missable for Raga to get his own 2-game lead.
Not inch perfect by any means, but it should be no issue.
bit more cut than it appears, though.
Anton Raga
On the
wins
occasion of
rack.
his wife's birthday, I'm just wondering, is it going to be a case of, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Now, does that make... Here's the big miss on the 4, and he didn't hit it terribly, but again, when you have to put power into the ball, the room for error is much slimmer. Now, does that make Pia the elder of the two?
No, Joshua's already 26.
Okay. Now it looks like SVB is going to get one back, and you know we always talk about in the Mosconi Cup, you know, for years when SVB makes a mistake or two, Kenny seems to have a problem leaving that behind him. And you know, the biggest 9-ball tournament he's ever played in here, dollars wise, and of course the crown jewel of the game, along with that U.S. Open, those are the two biggest. He's got 5 of those. He's got that World Championship. Can he kind of erase what's happened so far and just play what he needs in this second half of the match?
For Ignacio, these stakes are unprecedented. Also, awkward queuing. But the 6 just about sneaks in. And from here, you cannot imagine he won't get to the hill.
And Jeffrey, I think he gets overlooked at times just because he's, you know, quiet Filipino, doesn't say a whole lot, goes about his business, but he can sure cue the ball and probably getting more used to this big pressure every moment.
The 9-ball to be 1 rack away from taking on Eklund Kachi in the quarterfinals. No sign of wilting under pressure for Jeffrey Ignacio. He leads the European Open champion 10-4.
Rack 9, Anton Raga to break, leading by 5 racks to 3.
Yeah, it's more of what he wants. He actually cues that with a little inside. If you watch the right hand pop outward, see it outward there, and it's a little left with that draw, it seems. Now the 2 does play. He's going to cannon into the red 3. But you got to believe he wants to stay offensive and get that arm going. That's what he's looking to do, is run some racks.
As is Shane Van Boning, who, looking to my left from our commentary position, has a really good opportunity to get within 1 against Wojciech Szewczyk. So much going on. It's now a 3-table arena. For the rest of the week, it's been 16 tables. It's been a vibrant scene here. Now it's really intense.
Yeah, all kinds of dollars over 3 tables as well. Every ball being made. Gotta go a little bit.
Good timing to go split screen, Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, whoever loses this match between SVB and Szewczyk, both are going to maybe have a little bit of nightmares about it, because again, Szewczyk in the lead, but
Extension
could have
called.
extended that lead at times, and really Shane could have been in the lead as well. Kind of giving some things away, both of them. But again, that's how sports is sometimes, and certainly 9-ball. It's all about who wakes up first and gets the job done late. Probably going to be a big draw stroke to the top of the bottom rail. Remember the miscue we saw earlier from SVB, so going low. going to be okay there.
Yeah, a couple of power shots from SVB in this rack. Knocked in a lengthy 4 and screwed back just before we came over to it. He's now breathing down Shevchik's neck.
And just the way Raga kind of, the feeling I'm getting, we always know Joshua Filler's never out of it. He showed us that yesterday, trailing 9-4 before reeling off 7 in a row. But I know it'll only be 6-3, but I feel like he could be in a little trouble or dangerous situation with Raga maybe figuring out the break.
Yeah, it was really late night. He came through against Mario He past midnight when he won 11-10.
Anton Raga
Now,
wins the rack.
This afternoon, he's doubling up on the great Joshua Filler, 6-3, and that means it's a case of Jeffrey Raga making the most of Filler's mistakes, but also producing some good stuff himself. And what about this? Raga's doing well, chews through, and so is Jeffrey Ignacio. He's defeated David Al-Qaedi very comfortably, very convincingly, by 11 racks to 4. So Ignacio will now have a break before returning this evening to take on the mighty Albanian Eklund Kaci.
To know that I'm the one, 'cause I can do things for you. I've never been wrong. Just turn it on, just turn it on. Start out the lights and watch me set it off. Just turn it
Half of the last 16 matches in the World 9-Ball Championship are complete. Dang Junho recovered from a slow start to beat Mickey Kraus 11-6. He will play Johan Chua next. Chua beating Mohamed Soufi, last year's runner-up, 11-8. Jeffrey Ignacio, our latest winner, 11-4 over David Al-Qaedi. And he takes on Eklund Kaci, who's been the most dominant player so far today. As for the bottom half of the draw, 2 matches yet to begin. Viktor Zielinski against João Griot and Fedor Gorst against Chris Melling. 2 matches well advanced. Anton Raga has won 4 consecutive racks to turn a 3-2 deficit into a 6-3 lead over Joshua Filler. And Wojciech Szewczyk, he was 7-4 up on Shane Van Boening. Now, though, it's 7-6, and I can tell you, with a really good hook on the 1 early.
Leading by 6 racks to 3.
In rack 14, Van Boening has forced another opportunity, this time to draw level.
Yeah, and watch the right hand as it pops out here. It's like he's cueing a little left right there at impact. Interesting to see. And Shane just made a shot on the 1 ball, and I know Shane pretty well and watched him play a lot of pool, and he's made the type of one that could inspire him. I know that's crazy, but after some mistakes, I think he's digging deep. Now Raga has a look at the blue 2. He may go for the cross side bank here, trying to play a bit of a 2-way. Looks like he's going to avoid that. No, he is. Yeah, the speed's off a hair maybe. No, it's pretty good. Going to see Josh go to the air, I believe.
It's such an unforgiving game, isn't it? Filler 3-2 ahead. Should have made it 4-2. He missed that 7 ball out of nowhere. He missed a 5 ball a little later on. And those mistakes have now
Extension call.
magnified.
Yeah, and they get even more magnified with a guy like Anton Raga on the other end. He needs to turn it around a little bit. I don't know if that was the play. You could see a little shake of the head, so maybe a bit of fortune. But like they always say, it pays to hit them.
Shane Van Boening to achieve parity. He's fantastic, and he's a fighter.
Yeah, I mean, just like we talked about before with Filler last night, always when you're a champion player, and all these players are great front runners, but you can't have all the titles in the career that SVB has had without making a bunch of comebacks. None more memorable than the one in his world title win. What was that, the final 64, final 32? I think you'll remember, Phil, against Mika Immonen.
Yeah, 10-3 adrift. He was 7 behind with a possible 8 to play, and he got the job done.
Very tricky shot there, too, cueing downward kind of awkwardly for the lefty off the side rail. Was a little worried about that one for Filler, but he caught center cut there. Gotta pay attention to the cue ball a little bit, the speed. Okay, he's stunned around. Shouldn't be a problem now.
Joshua Filler wins the rack.
In goes the 9. You know, Filler is such a classy player. When he has a lucky shot and has position attached, you know he's probably going to make the most of it. Pia Filler a little happier. Nevertheless, Hubby trails 6-4.
Yeah, I think a bit of a roll there on the jump combination, but the key is to back it up with some stellar play, and that's exactly what he did. SVB just missed another ball. Wasn't easy by any means, but the issue is he missed it by some piece. That may be the concern. Better Gorst and Chris Melling to tee it off pretty soon. I'll tell you, Chris is prepared, you know, I mean, and won a big match last night against a fellow Brit at 11-10. Elliot Sanderson, by the way, hats off to a nice tournament, and I think he's coming along.
Yeah, I commentated on that match with Scott Frost. Sanderson led 10-8. Suffered an unfortunate scratch, and from that point, Melling to the line was perfection.
Rack 11, Joshua Filler to break, trailing by 6 racks to 4.
Yeah, we'll get another look here. They've missed the one quite often in this match. Pretty good spread, though, and I think he made a little bit of a cue ball adjustment and location for the break. Some distance here. Remember one ball he missed early, trying to cheat the pocket. It was the opposite corner, but I think he has a bit of an angle here, and he has a little at the bottom of the cue ball. Not the best draw stroke there. But he's just got to be a little worried about the, of course, a missable ball on the blue too, but he's going to draw the cue ball one rail across. Got to be concerned about the pink a bit. Mainly the snooker.
Called.
Now this is another one. If you're not going to get a bunch on draw on this cue ball, when playing the 2, is there any concern with the ball on the side rail just right of the pink? That would be the 9. Like if he overhits it, worrying about getting behind the pink. Don't think the 9's a real issue though. Oh, he miscued. Has to be a miscue. Yeah, you see him looking at the tip. He dropped the chalks. The blood is flowing, Phil.
And with so many balls on the table, he was lucky not to catch one and make a foul shot.
Yeah, Josh laughing it off. Maybe that'll relieve the tension for both players.
Nice pot on the 2. Another one required here. The 3 even more difficult.
Yeah, at least he's got options. He can level out, maybe go into the pink a little bit, go past the pink for the side. He doesn't have to elevate. Now, there is a little concern with the brown 7 there, but I think if he knocks it in, I think he can get past it and maybe avoid the 7. Don't like him elevating here, but I mean, whatever he does is probably the right play.
Extension called.
Good time for the extension, probably a game-winning ball. Yeah, I like him leveling out. Oh no, wow. As Mizrak said in The Color of Money, he didn't deserve that.
Fortunate in the previous rack. Cruelly unfortunate there.
Seems to always hit these with good speed. This one's a little funny because the cue ball's a little closer to the rail, so he may not hit top, may hit more of a center ball. Yeah, like that. Cue ball. Dodged the scratch, so he did leave a tester. We're just thinking about that next match between Chris Milling and Fedor Gorsuch. It's going to get going here in a moment. Wouldn't you think Fedor Gorsuch would love to have a lead? It's been crazy times for him this week. Something like I've never seen in his young career.
Well, he had a pretty good lead last night against Chang Yulong, and it drifted away. But he got over the line in the end. Good pot from Raga on the 4.
Yeah, very good. Anytime the cue ball's near the rail, that's probably, you know, the most kind of nervy shot these players will have. They can cue all the ball, no matter what they're playing at. They become a huge favorite.
News from table 2, by the way. Wojciech Szewczyk is back in front against Shane Van Boening at 8-7. Jeremy mentioned that Van Boening missed early in rack 15. Szewczyk stepped in and did the business. As Raga is doing here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he opens this up and comes up for the corner. And it looks like he's going to play for the side, but side's okay. Decide to check the cue ball. Shane Van Boening just made the best shot of the match on his end anyways. A 3-rail kick and stuck the ball at a big moment.
Anton
For
Raga
Anton
wins the
Raga,
rack.
it is a 3-rack cushion re-established at 7-4 as we go deeper into the match. Joshua Filler is deeper in trouble. Now over on table 1, I can tell you Chris Milling has taken the opening rack from Fedor Gorsuch. Gorsuch playing catch-up. A very accustomed position. This week, unaccustomed normally.
Yeah, I thought Chris really had to improve the break to advance in this event, just from what we saw early days, and from what the looks of things are, I just saw on rack number 2, it looked pretty picture perfect. He's got a shot on that blue 2, so we'll keep you posted.
Against Imran Majida, another fine player from the UK earlier this week, Melling won 9-4, despite having, would you believe, 7 dry breaks.
Yeah. Usually I just saw him kind of in an earlier match before that, actually. That was on the TV table, if I remember. He played Aloysius Yap, I believe it was, and really just kind of mishit the rack all kinds of different ways. Didn't have all those dry breaks, I don't think, but there was nothing consistent from break to break.
And if you've heard this before, I am sorry about repetition, but if you're just joining us for the first time, there's also the story with Melling about the fact he's been battling gout in his big toe on the right foot.
Rack 12, Anton Raga to break, leading by 7 racks to 4.
It's getting towards the danger zone for Josh Filler.
Yeah, and how many times has he missed the 1? And again, watch the 9 move. When it moves out quickly, that's a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, the referee is Julian Roper, and I have to say the movement of the 9 is so regular, it's not coincidental.
No, not at all. And the template's there to make it as good as possible time and time again. It can't obviously always be perfect, but wouldn't say it's, always on the player, to be fair. Hey, still some work here. Don't see the 4 being missed, not the 5, but you got to, anytime you got to track up and down the table, just the slightest bit of a mistake, and miss a ball to the pocket, speeds off a little bit, things can get a bit sticky. Like right here, having to go up and down, so now he's got to deliver a big draw stroke from distance. So how you hit the pocket, you could land near the rail. I don't see him getting straight on the 7, which would probably be the worst thing, but watch out for the side as well, just in case he overcuts it a bit. He got a lot out of that. Really good. Stayed off the rail for the most part also. Now he's got to make a decision. Does he play for a thin cut on the 8 to go up and down? Like where he's looking there. That's the more secure play. Meaning you got to do a little more work, but you're almost guaranteed to get in that position on the 8 and give yourself a chance and kind of put it in your own hands.
We've talked about Joshua Filler being such a wonderful potter, and that applies in pressures or in situations of acute pressure. The mark
Joshua
of
Filler
a great
wins the
champion.
rack.
He badly needed that rack, and he wins it with a succession of missable pots. 7-5.
I'm going to change it.
It's been virtually unbroken sunshine here in Jeddah this week for the World 9-Ball Championship, but for Shane Van Boning on table 2, the metaphorical dark clouds are gathering. Wojciech Szewczyk just winning rack 16 there to take a 9-7 lead. He only needs 2 more.
Rack 13,
And for the
Joshua
second year
Phillips
in
to break.
succession,
Trailing by
Van
7
Boning
racks to
will
5.
lose in the last 16 of the championship.
Yeah, dry break there. The 1 did threaten the side a bit more. Not as much movement on the 9. So a good sign for our referee. Josh putting a little more speed into that one, it seemed like, as well.
Table 1, by the way, it's very early stages, but Fedor Gorst did win the second rack, so 1-1 there.
Push out called.
Yeah, push coming in. If you're new to 9-ball, the push out is only after the break shot.
Joshua, it's your choice.
The breaker on a ball being made, or like here, the incoming player on a dry break, have one time they must declare a push out to where they can push the cue ball anywhere they want. And the incoming player has the option to take the shot or pass it back. Very crucial part of the game. Is that enough speed? So common these players end up short on that shot. Always wanting to worry about the 1 getting away. Szewczyk going for a big kick shot on the blue 2 to maybe produce a run out to get on the hill. Wow, he hit the 2. It was hanging in the corner. And I really
Extension
don't know how
called.
it didn't go. Did get a break though. Got a bit of a roll. Speed looks very good here.
You know, when it comes to performances this week, his opening display, Anton Raga against Bernie Regulario, was an absolute clinic in terms of tactics. He's one of those players you must never underestimate.
Foul shot.
And a rare missed kick from Josh, especially the
All in
last few
hand.
years. He's really improved in that department. And that's a bit of a shocker to me.
Please
I
start
wouldn't
the
say
clock.
a big mistake. I mean, it is a kick shot, but he just usually does make contact. Szewczyk with a really nice shot at the blue 2 now to get started. What is that? Rack number 19 to maybe get on the hill.
Yeah, there's a real possibility here that 2 giants of the game could be toppled within moments of each other.
Yeah, I can't believe or can't see that Szewczyk not getting out from here, even though he has struggled as well. Just too easy of a layout, I believe, anyways. And of course, you never know.
Anton Raga comes from a background of playing money matches in the Philippines. That, of course, is a very tough school, uncompromising. You need to have your wits about you. You need to play all kinds of shots. You need to cope with all kinds of adversity and nerves. And he's doing that in this match.
He really has one of the most unique styles of the Philippines. And the reason why I say that is a lot of the Philippines players, especially some of the younger ones, you can see You know, they're either more on the structured technique, meaning recognizing some things that's going on around the world with other parts of the world where they're very all about technique, like a Johan Chua, everything very in line. But otherwise, they kind of modeled themselves after a former player, maybe because they're from that region or whatnot. But Raga, very unique to himself. Well, he shortens the bridge quite a bit. Of course, his stature is a little on the shorter end. May have something to do with that, but pulls the trigger very quickly.
You should go into diplomacy, Jeremy. He's very short, isn't he?
Yeah, he plays pretty large though, and gotta be a little thin here. Not saying it should be a problem. Come 2 rails up the left side, right at the 9 ball. Shevchuk with a pretty easy 8 and 9 here to get on the hill. And Van Boning's got to stay positive, though. He's in striking distance. Just needs to get an opportunity.
The 9 ball should be a formality, but not for Raga.
He got just about as bad as he could on this 9 ball from where he was at, and that's why I say he's a little thin on the 7. Shouldn't have been a problem, but all about how he hit the pocket. Josh Filler will be paying attention to this.
What a big moment in the match. What a difference this rack makes. Anton Raga relieved to see that one
Anton
in.
Raga wins the rack.
He leads by 8 racks to 5, and Joshua Filler and Shane Van Boning from opposite sides of the Atlantic are linked by the fact that both are in deep trouble.
Yeah, you could tell he wasn't sure when it left, but it did get down off the upper jaw. 8 to 5's our score. 10 to 8. SVB trails. I think Chris Melling just got another one on his side.
It's actually even worse for Van Boning. It's 10-7. He needs the last 4 racks. Of course, last year in the last 16, it went hill against Duong Kwok Wang. And in the end, luck deserted SVB. He'll need some luck now and some positive play. But don't discount him, and the same applies to Joshua Filler. 9-4 down against Fitim Haradinaj of Kosovo yesterday in the last 64. And he rattled off the next 7 racks. Right now, though, if you're thinking about how to script this story, for me, it's about 2 balls, a missed 7 and a missed 5, which he normally would not leave on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, both of those, you just know what we're really missing, and what it would have been exponentially,
Rack
maybe
14,
running some racks.
Anton
Now the
Raga's
break has been tough.
Leading
So
by 8 racks to 5.
Shevchuk did make a ball on the break. He is snookered, so Shane's going to get to make a decision and maybe swing the cue a bit more. Got the 1 down. I think the 3's going to open. He's going to have a tough 2 ball. Now, did the 9 get put into play where he can maybe kind of shoot at the 2 and spin into the 9 with the cue ball, trying to hold shape for the 3 in the upper corner? I think so. I think he's going to shoot here. Get another look to see if both balls are possible. This is where you don't want to shoot in between. You want to focus on one ball or the other, whether it be banging the 2 around, maybe playing the 9 or the safety. Or if the 2 looks good, just go ahead and level out and try and pocket the 2. He's playing safe. Yeah, good stuff.
He's playing safe. He's playing very safe.
Yeah, Josh can tie up the 4 and the 3, but the problem is you're going to leave ball in hand on the 2, so Raga may be able to position the cue ball to open these if he ties them up and doesn't leave a combination of some sort.
Foul shot.
Yeah, the
Ball in hand.
combination might be there.
Please start the clock.
One last 16 match yet to get underway. Victor Zielinski against João Grillo. Fedor Gorst 2-2 with Chris Milling. It's that time in the session when there's so much going on, so much to see, so much to digest.
Well, he's going to have a lot more cut on this red 3 than it appears. So the 3's going to have some pace, of course, coming off the 4 for the combination. Cue ball should be moving as well.
Extension called.
It's an awkward combination from behind. Easy to hit it a hair thick. Send the 4 into the side rail and it might catch that left jaw. Oh, he hit it sweet.
Please.
And the little brush off the 3 with the cue ball will be like a dagger in the heart of Joshua Filler, because the table is now there for Raga. Can he be an international champion and a national hero? They would embrace him back in the Philippines if he won this, like the all-conquering hero.
Yeah, he's going to have a stretch here. He's going to get the rest from Julian. Good thing is he can take a little bit of a long shot, just kind of pinch this ball back a bit.
With no intervening ball, rather strange he used the bridge in that way, on the right-hand extremity, with elevation.
Yeah, he likes to shorten that bridge up though naturally, so he maybe kind of does the same thing with the rest. Big shot here. This is not easy. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. When he gets going, kind of controls his own pace, and we saw it last night, or yesterday rather, where he just doesn't miss a ball. It seems like he just gets better and better, and not much exchange from Filler hurts.
Have we just seen the turning point? Will we be thinking about that tomorrow night?
Yeah.
What a miss.
Well, I thought he could draw it, to be honest. I mean, most of these players want to draw the ball a lot of times on the slick table. I'm not saying the slick table made that miss. Very similar to the miss on the 5 from Filler earlier. Thought he had a bit more options than Filler did, though.
Do not invite Filler in. He'll drink all of your wine, he'll eat all of
Joshua
your
Filler
food.
wins the rack.
Metaphorically, of course. Don't give him a chance. 8-6, I mean, it might well have been 9-5. He missed a 7 earlier, Filler. This time it's Raga's turn. Oh, the pain, Jeremy. The pain.
Yeah, I know that pain. I feel it. Feel for him. Didn't expect it. I'll tell you. I was just saying it gets to where you just don't think a miss is coming. But he keeps, see, you know, he gets a little faster and faster. You know, when he gets down on the ball, he's not far off a Sufi the way he pulls the trigger, really.
Also a quick player, Chris Melling 3-2 up on Fedor Gorsht. As for this rack, it's not been quick, it's been very tense. Shevchik trying to put Shane Van Boening away.
Yeah, went for the make. I thought he might bang that around the table. Don't blame him though, really. Trying, you know, if he feels like if he buries that jump, he probably, you know, wins the match. So here you are, SVB. You trailed 10-7 on the best breakers ever. So we'll see.
I think it's important here that Filler
Rack 15,
puts together
Joshua
a good
Filler to
break. A break and run out would
Trailing
be
by 8 racks
just
to
what
6.
the doctor ordered.
Yeah, that's more of what he's looking for. The cue ball and the red 3 are coming together after the 1 and 2 have pocketed. Well, you see that again, hardly any 9-ball movement, and that's the rack they're looking for. SVB got snookered and now served up ball in hand. Shevchik with 6 left on the table. Got to play a nice one here. You want to kind of broaden this angle when you're coming 2 cushions for the gap between the 6-7. Don't want to come in tight. Speed control can be off, so should hover up around that right middle. Queuing. Okay, he's all right. Going into the 9 now with the cue ball. It appears so anyways. Oh no, he can get by it if he wants.
Wojciech Shevchik ever closer to a famous victory. Joshua Filler ever closer to getting back within 1. This is crunch time on both tables. It is a break and run out from Josh Filler in rack 15. 8-7 the score there, but now the big story. Shane Van Boening on the brink of elimination. He was the champion in 2022, was the American great. He lost in the last 16 last year in Poland, and now he looks like suffering an identical fate against a Polish player. It's there. Shane Van Boening beaten by 11 racks to 7. Wojciech Shevchik equals his best ever performance in the World 9-Ball Championship. On the Red Sea, you will find Saudi Arabia's second biggest city. It is Jeddah, and to be precise, our location is the Prince Abdullah Al Faisal City Sports Hall, where this week it's the World 9-Ball Championship, the first time ever in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and we could, you know, very well have a first-time winner on the trophy. Look at this. Shane Van Boening, the latest big-name casualty, beaten by Wojciech Shevchik 11-7 just a few moments ago. Shevchik now awaits either Victor Zielinski, his fellow countryman, or João Griot from Portugal.
Rack 16, Joshua Filler to break, trailing by 8 racks to 7.
Two former champions still battling away in the event. Fedor Gorsh 3-3 with Chris Melling, and this man, Josh Filler. 8-5 down, remember. Anton Raga missed the 7 ball. Are we seeing transformational pool?
Yeah, and these are sitting really nice. Little awkward when you're close to the ball and he has to maybe rub the 3 a bit. He's going to pinch it back, coming behind the 3 with the cue ball, but look at the rest of the layout. If he can get these first 2, the 4 in the upper right, the 5 over the side, just as easy a layout as we had past this first shot. Yeah. And maybe try to favor the rail a little bit. Maybe trying to open the pocket, make it a little too easy. What a big miss.
He's so good that when he misses, even in a match of this length, a 7 ball, a 5 ball, and now a 2 ball.
Extension called.
It's unexpected.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I fancy his chances to tie the match. A big shot here. He doesn't want to have a lot of angle on the 3, so speed and the line are pretty important. He's going to have a little distance, but shot he's very, very good at, pushing through the cue ball. Could hold it there maybe, but I think he's going to go forward, coming straight at the 4 off of 1 cushion. Yeah, asking for the cue ball to get cleaned again. And he's done it more often after he shot, so maybe something he knows about his own chalk. Does he draw over? Does he come? Can he come downward easy and not have too much of a worrisome angle on the 6? It looks like he can go forward. Oh, watch out! Oh my, he may be corner hooked.
Well, if he is, it's preferable to the scratch.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, he could have just fallen forward a little bit. He looked at it. It was definitely there. I think he can see this possibly. No, doesn't appear so. He's aiming away. You'll see it when we go away from the replay. Oh, and he's going to get the snooker here, maybe. No, what a hit. But even the top guys feeling a little the pressure here late.
As anticipated, widely anticipated, with this amount of prize money and World 9-Ball Tour ranking points available. It's inevitable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we see it in every event, really, but I just definitely a bit more
Extension
here.
called.
I think these two also, you know, realize how great both players are, and that adds a little to it as well. This little light. Wanted to send that past, so it's not going to be easy and maybe not even playable. Maybe a natural scratch, but I think he can avoid it. He can cut this in the side. That's the big mistake if he can. That one Josh is not going to be happy with.
He didn't just deliver that cue, he danced as he played it. He's a mover and he's a shaker.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got me moving around a bit, and you can see the concern on birthday girl Pia Filler. She's Sweating every ball at the moment. And it seems like the balls are breaking better the last 3 or 4 games, so very dangerous. Dangerous waters here for Josh Filler. He may not get back to the table.
Anton Raga wins the rack.
Wow, what a scoreline. 2 racks in it now to Anton Raga. Joshua Filler missed the 2, then he left the 6. And the Dragon is breathing fire. Now, we haven't seen an awful lot of this match so far, but Fedor Gorst finds himself back in front. Slender lead at 4-3. Chris Melling at the table trying to complete that carom. So far, I think Melling's competing well.
Yeah, he is, but that was an awfully tough carom. I mean, that ball was off the rail a bit, about almost a diamond away from the pocket. There were some safety options as well, and talked about it when he played Yap. You know, Yap gave him some opportunities, and he had a two-game lead a few times, and not just early, somewhat late. Went for a 2-9 combination that I thought was pretty difficult, maybe low percentage, and I thought that one was the same there on that kiss shot. This is going to leave a little gap, possibly. No, 3 did carry. Now Melling known for all his great escapes, so.
Yeah, he's known as the magician because of some of the extraordinary shots he pulls off, but some of those tricks sometimes backfire.
Yeah, he's looking to come 2 cushions this way, so he's not going to get a lot of speed on this. I'm not sure about a snooker in return, really. Yeah, that was all about the make, and you could see a very bare bottom end at that speed, right? So thought he may come 2 cushions down underneath it.
Well, he was just looking there to see whether he'd left a
Rack
5-9
17.
combination to the middle
Anton
pocket.
Raga to break.
We'll keep you
Leading
informed.
by 9 racks to 7.
Anton Raga has broken dry on at least 4 occasions in this match. But not this time. Oh, the 9 ball almost in.
Now, like I said, it seems like they're breaking better the last 3 or 4 or 5 games. Not quite as much movement on the 9, except for with the cue ball there, and I thought it was down, really. Bill scared me with his movement in the box over here.
Yeah.
Raga's rubbing off.
Exactly, I was just going to say the same thing. I was doing commentary on Anton Raga on the Matchroom YouTube channel earlier this week, and I was comparing him actually to a former World 9-Ball Championship finalist, Ismael Paez, the Mexican jumping bean.
That's right, Moro. Lost to Fong Peng Chao, if I remember, there in Cardiff. Wasn't his best final, but it was a great run to that final. I was about to say that 2-ball was probably the shot to get him to the hill. Got him pretty fortunate with the awkward cueing. Yeah, that's always hard. Of course, it's a little easier than shooting dead over a ball, but when you're beside a ball, it's hard to really kind of center the cue. When you're using English, the ball deflects a little differently, and it's just always odd, it seems.
Look at that, 7 missed pots from the best
Extension
potter
call.
in the game.
Yeah, absolutely, and we can remember, 3 or 4 that, at least 3 that Really going to hurt. Couple missed safeties, couple missed kicks that we haven't seen much of in the last 2 years, it seems. Okay, can he get shape here? I mean, the kick to me looks pretty good. Look at this shot here. Look at this shot here. Is he going to leave a jump on the 9? May leave a swerve of some sort. And Josh is going to look at a kick shot. He's been so good in that department. He's had a couple get away in this match here overall, but can go to the side
Extension
rail. It
called.
seems like there's something he may be able to judge.
I can tell you the last 16 match to begin has begun. Victor Zielinski against João Griot over on table number 2. Griot just breaking off in the opening rack.
Yeah, dry break, and I was talking about how well he breaks the balls. I think he's a threat in this tournament, really do. But let him rip here, Phil. Oh, pretty good control. He's going to get a roll as well. Great hit there. Does Filler take a chance at the 9 somehow? Kind of doubt it, but it is a little goofy here, this shot.
Gorshed 5-3 over Chris Melling.
Now this is going to open up. Not saying it's going to be easy, but definitely playable. Kind of like the opening shot. Really, this 2 ball, he knocks it in with the draw stroke going to the side rail and back over. Really should win the game. They're open from there. He's snookered, I believe. It's close. Maybe it'll jump this and just hold the cue ball. Trying to use the brown 7. You gonna swerve it? Gotta play the safety here, I think. Filler's going to come off the left side rail. This one here you want to usually hit with a high ball, take a chance to make it. The thing you're looking for the most often is knocking the 3 to the side rail above the side pocket, letting it go to the top cushion, trying to use the 6 and 8. Now he's going to hit more of a center ball, so really taking a chance at making it.
Hello. What a pot under the gun.
Yeah, worked the cue ball into a great position as well. Wants to just probably go the rail with a little right spin. Get where he can get pretty straight here on the 5. Pull the cue ball past the side a little bit. Getting on the 6. Wants an angle to get back on the 7.
of those late nights, early mornings playing for money in the Philippines have armoured Anton Raga, equipped him to be able to do the business here. 250,000 US dollars though, I would hazard a guess as to say, and it's not exactly a wild guess, is it, that this is the highest stakes match, the highest stakes tournament, the highest stakes environment he's ever been in, but he's coping.
Yeah, and you wouldn't say it's been a poor match, just a couple unexpected misses by both players. Obviously a few more by Josh, but you know, the break was kind of funny for both players there for a bit. That will always make the match look a little sluggish, but I think it's been pretty quality overall.
Anton Raga.
10-7 the Anton Raga lead over Joshua Filler. Shane Van Boening was 10-7 down against Wojciech Szewczyk. He could not turn that around. Can Filler? Yes, of course he can, but it will be a very tough task, even for him. So back over to table one, where it's 5-3 to Fedor Gorsht. Nothing has come easy. Nothing this week for him. He's had so many pitch battles. He lost his first match 9-3 to Mustafa Alner. And from there on, his road has been paved with cobbles. If he were to win this championship, given the route he's taken so far, it would be something else.
Yeah, a little upset there. Not so much about the miss, but the underhit. He knows if he misses it, it's coming away from the rail, and he expected to put more speed as the 5 would come up and maybe not leave much of a shot for Chris. Grillo missed the 7 in the first game. Zielinski up 1-0.
Now look at the cue action of Chris Melling. Classical. Takes it back. Pause. And then pours it in.
Yeah, Chris Melling, he's shown us a lot this week. I don't really know how much 9-ball he's been playing at all. Spends a ton of time in China as well.
He has captured big 9-ball titles though. China Open, Derby City Classic. He's a former MVP in the Moscow Cup, although that's over a decade ago now. What a story that would be if Melling were to lift the trophy.
All right, what's the 5 gonna do? He's really begging for that 5 to open up. That way the blue 2 did play, but now he's gonna have to show us a bit more.
He's got a really sunny disposition as Anton Raga. He likes to laugh and a joke, but this is a very serious business.
Look what he's looking at here. He's going to push through on this blue 2 and try and plant him behind the purple. This shot is very effective, and you know most of the pros will know it. But normally you don't pull the trigger when there's that much separation between the blue 2 and the purple 5, where you have to carry the cue ball accurately up the side rail.
Extension
Yeah, I would think about this one.
You won't be surprised to know that Chris Melling did win rack 9, so he trails Fedor Gorsht only 5-4.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Chris is breaking. I do see the 1 fall from a distance, so that's a good sign for him. I think he's got to break well there. Now he's got options here. I think he's going to push through behind the purple. And it's got to go. And that's the tendency, is to be a little light, maybe worried about hitting the point with the cue ball. A lot of times on that shot, you can bump the ball a little bit and still be okay. So Filler's got a chance.
not for the first time, the 2-ball does not obey Joshua Filler. Is that his last shot in this year's championship?
Well, that was a nice play there, and a little tougher than it looks coming out of the pocket when you're coming across the middle of the table. Easy to lose the speed in the line of the cue ball, but he's perfect. Needs to stay off the rail when coming across with the 5 pinned a little on the right side rail. So that's what he is so good at. He gets that extra bounce off the cue ball so often, and I'll tell you, we're going to be down to what? One former world champion left in the event here. Do think Raga's going to get out.
Last year in Fulda, Germany, Anton Raga defeated Josh Filler in 11-9 in the semi-final of the European Open, a major event. This time in the last 16 of the World Championship, it looks like he's going to be a victor again.
And really hard to go wrong from here, Phil.
And knowing Joshua Filler, knowing his winning mentality, defeat will be devastating for him. Yes, he wins plenty, he's won plenty this year. But he despises defeat.
Yeah, and he's not going to be happy with his performance either. It's one thing to get beaten, of course, perform so well so often. Just a few got away here, and then the break never got going.
Anton Raga
in
wins the
programs
match.
like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, the dragon is a destroyer, and this dragon has been a destroyer of the hopes, the aspirations of John.
Only thing, Filler gone, SVB gone, Sufi gone. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's 9-ball pool, Eddie, and I'll tell you, Josh is going to be pretty upset about that when he had some chances. The break wasn't really on his side, and the problem was Anton got the break going and finished the job.
Yeah, I mean, we had Efren with us a bit earlier. We had Efren Reyes with us at the top of the show, and we spoke about just the growth of the game in the Philippines, how many superstars they've got. And we've got 3 Filipino players now through to the quarterfinals. Incredible.
Yeah, and they don't play each other either, right? So, I mean, a lot going on for them. They flew in their lucky charm, right? Efren Reyes, when the big money's on, he's around and he's pulling them in.
Yeah, Fedor Gors is playing as well right now. He's taking on Chris Mellon. Fedor Gors, as you saw on the graphic there, 5-4 up. I mean, he's gone hill in his last 2. He could go hill again.
Yeah, I was going to say you might as well make it hill now for Fedor Gors. Flip a coin for the break and see who gets it. But Fedor, you know, he's living on the edge this event. That's how it is sometimes. I think everyone's been living on the edge, even the people that aren't playing here in Saudi. It's just a massive event for so many.
Yeah, a massive event with so many massive upsets as well. Stick with us, though, because by the time we end this evening session, we're going to know who the final 4 are in the 2024 World Pool Championship. Make sure you rejoin us at 5:30.